Welcome to a Telltale Books video. I'm Greg. I'm getting back to my John Kessel series with this video. This is his fourth work, In an Alien Wood. And this was published, it's a short story, it was published in Galileo magazine in May of 1979. I have a rather beat up copy of that magazine. The story itself has an absolutely brilliant black and white illustration by Terry Lee, who worked pretty closely with John Kessel at that time. See if I can find it. I would love to show it to you, but of course I'm not going to just come up with it. It's going to take me forever. So then I have to edit. Here we go. And apologies to Mr. Lee and copyright holders, but I really love this illustration, so I gotta show it off. Beautiful work, beautiful work. And cool issue of Galileo. Galileo was a very short-lived magazine. I think there were 16 issues published in the late 70s, early 80s. But it was a really good magazine. It published Masters of Solitude as a serial. It published The Ringworld Engineers as a serial. I really wish it would have kept going. It was an excellent magazine. But as I remember back then, it was very hard to get a hold of issues. The distribution, I've talked about this before, distribution to Racine, Wisconsin of stuff like this was pretty bad. So it was very hard for me to find any issues of Galileo. So anyway, this was Mr. Kessel's fourth published story, and in it, you have a guy named Judge. He's a sculptor, and he's on an alien planet with a colony, trying to create a utopian society. And for whatever reason, he gets into a fight with his girlfriend, and she takes him into the jungle and beats the crap out of him and leaves him to die. Well, there are these alien creatures called Rippers. They're called Rippers because they're like cats with an attitude. Okay. They have been attacking the humans, and they are really vicious and they are very deadly. So the humans have been killing these Rippers off. Well, Judge wakes up and there's a Ripper there just near him. And he's in pretty bad shape, so he lays there. The Ripper goes off into the jungle, comes back with a lizard. The Ripper sits there and eats half of it, and then brings the rest of it over by Judge and leaves it and walks a distance away and just sits down and watches him. So he builds a fire and he cooks with the rest of the lizard and eats it. The Ripper actually befriends him, and the story from there, the closest parallel that I know of is A Martian Odyssey by Stanley Weinbaum, because you have these two walking through the jungle, Judge trying to get back to the settlement. His initial desire in going back to the settlement is go back and kill his ex-girlfriend Marge. But along the way, he's befriended by these aliens that he and his people have been killing off. They help him. He gets spines in him from a poisonous caterpillar type creature, and they cure him of it. They take care of him. They feed him. They get him better and get him to where he can walk back to the settlement. And so Judge goes through a journey of growth in re-examining assumptions and realizing that things are not always what they seem. And so by the time he gets back to the settlement, he has a very different frame of mind and a very different outlook on things. And um, very nice little story, very well done. Like I say, the closest thing to it in my memory is A Martian Odyssey, but it's different because in A Martian Odyssey, Tweel and the Earthman, they hit it off right away, and the Earthman right away realizes how intelligent Tweel is. In this case, he has to learn. It takes time. So, very good example of how you can take a science fictional idea and make it central to to building a strong character. The idea wouldn't work if you didn't also have the right character going through the right journey of growth. Um, that's the way to do it, guys. You can't just write character stories. You can't just write idea stories. For many, many, many years, we had nothing but idea stories. Now we're getting lots of character stories, but the whole point of science fiction should be the combination of the two. Having that great idea and showing how it affects the people, how it changes the people, so that you have both character and idea to your story. Kessel is doing it here in his story In an Alien Wood, and he does it very well. I'm not going to give this story a top tail. I don't think it's quite that good, but it is a good story, and I do recommend reading it if you can track it down. The only place I know where it exists is this issue of Galileo, and these are not available as PDFs online either. That's why my copy looks like it went through a war. I can probably find other copies, but at the time when I needed to get it to read the story, this was all that was available to me. So for my collection, I'll look for a better copy. Anyway, have you ever read In an Alien Wood? If so, leave your comments in the comment section or other comments relating to John Kessel. You don't hear a lot about him. He's not writing as much anymore. He just had a book come out though with what is it, PM Press? They've been doing a whole line of books. Terry Bisson was the editor of the line of books where they would combine a couple stories with interview and some non-fact or some non-fiction articles in a book and put it out. And I just got the John Kessel one. I don't know where I put it, or I'd hold it up. It's a very good line of books. They're only trade paperbacks. I wish they'd do them in hardcover, but well worth the money. And John Kessel is the latest one they put out. Kessel needs to be talked about a lot more. He's one of our better writers. So my next John Kessel, in reading his complete bibliography, at least everything I can get my hands on, is titled Herman Melville, Space Opera Virtuoso. I hope you'll come back and join me to hear about that story and all the other John Kessel and other authors that I talk about here on Telltale Books.